company car I was driving was hit by a drunk driver. Insurance fully paid for the car, but the company says I still owe them $40,000. Sounds like a shit company. This was posted in r/legal advice. Original post, August 21st, 2015. I was on my way back home from work in my company car when I was hit almost head on by a drunk driver. He was found at fault by the police and the insurance company and was charged and convicted. His insurance settled with the company and gave them a payout to replace the car, which the company lawyer accepted. I am still off work recovering from my injuries, and I probably won't be back for 3 more months. Last month, I received a letter from the company stating that I owed them the cost of the car because I was the one responsible for it when it was totaled and written off. I thought it was a mistake or something. So I called the insurance company, got written confirmation of the settlement, and sent it into them with a note that the car had already been paid for by the insurance company. Now they have sent me to a collection agency, and I have debt collectors calling saying I owe $40,000. All that is so sketchy, but like not the right kind of sketchy, if that makes sense. If anything, it's kind of the you're fucking stupid sketchy. Like you don't call debt collectors after what? A month of asking someone to pay a debt. And on top of that, there's been like very little communication around it. All that's happened is they sent OP a letter. OP got confirmation from the insurance company that the car had been paid out by the insurance, and then his own company he works for sold that debt to a collection agency. I don't know if you guys are familiar with collection agencies, but that's like not the best way to go about that. Like debt collectors are for when you've had a debt for like months or maybe even years and you've just given up on collecting that debt and then you sell it to these collection agencies. Also, maybe you'll have to correct me, chat. I'll look at comments here in a second. I think legally, you do not have to pay debt collectors. Like that's one of the biggest unknown scams in the world, is that these debt collectors can't do shit to collect money from you because they're not the ones that you actually owe money to. Someone might have to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, at least in most states I'm familiar with. I live in California. Do I call the insurance company to let them know, or do I need to get a lawyer? Is them calling the debt collector even legal? Sorry if these questions are stupid, but I'm already stressed enough from trying to recover, and this has just made it worse. No, that's actually completely understandable, because what a fucking dog shit company to do that to you. One of their employees, hey, I know you're like recovering from injuries from a drunk driver, but let's just throw in a little $40,000 stressor for you. That's insane, bro. Can someone answer that if anyone has experience with debt collectors? Yep, that's 100% right. You can get your wages garnished after a few situations, but they're very specific. Child support, student loans, only sometimes owing the state or national government, etc. A quick Google says any legitimate debts pursued by collection agencies must be paid. That just sounds sketchy. Like you're telling me you bought my debt to somebody else and now you're trying to hound me for it, but you're not even the person I owe it to. Yeah, I would just tell them to suck my dick and take me to court if it's really that big of a deal. Like there's no way that's a legitimate business. That's just extremely predatory behavior. Like let's say that you did do this and for some reason you were able to convince that person to like pay that out. Like that shit's going on Indeed, Glassdoor. There's definitely a lawsuit there. Let's say this is me and for some reason I have to pay the $40,000. I'm going to every employee at that company and telling them, hey, by the way, if a drunk driver hits you, they're going to make you pay $40,000. Like I would get every single one of their employees to quit their job on the spot and fuck them over. I would go to prison ruining this company. There's no way that's at all beneficial to the company other than them just being greedy for an extra $40,000, which is like probably not a lot to these big companies, but I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger reason for this. Relevant comments. One commenter said, try making some phone calls to your employer and the insurance company to see if you can get things straightened out quickly. But if you hit a brick wall, it's time to get an attorney involved. Don't let this go too long. OP replied to that, my employer tells me I have to talk to the debt collector since it's in their hands now. I'll call the insurance company first thing Monday morning to see what they say. But why is the employer not telling them why they owe this debt? Like, that's what I'd be pissed about. I'd be going in every day and wreaking havoc. I know they're injured, so maybe I'd send someone, but I'd rather pay somebody to actually harass the fuck out of this company to get the answer as to why they're fucking over their employee before I talk to the debt collector. Like, if anything, it's on the employer if they sold the debt collector a faulty faulty debt. I guess too, like, where's the evidence? Is there a contract? Like, to sell something to a debt collector, there has to be something legitimate to believe that that debt is real and worth buying to collect, right? The same commenter replied to OP saying, it sounds like maybe you work for a pretty large company. You might need to climb the chain of command to speak with someone who has more familiarity with these issues. Your own employer should not be trying to collect a debt from you, whether directly or through a debt collection agency. The insurance company represents your employer, so they will probably be of limited assistance. More than likely, you'll need the help of an attorney to cut through this red tape. Edit. Oh, wait, who is the original creditor that turned over the debt to the collection agency? Your employer or the insurance company? OP replied, the drunk driver's insurance company paid them $40,000 as a settlement to replace the car. This was accepted by the company lawyer in a letter and payment was sent. My company is the one that sent me the collection agency. Okay, so it's definitely the company that's fucking some shit up. Same commenter replied, got it. Yeah, it sounds like someone at your employer screwed up. You need to work your way up the chain to find the person who can rescind the decision to send it to collections. The insurance company might be able to give you some leverage / documentation / contact info. I mean, I hope it's a mistake, but I'm also like, that's a pretty big fuck up. And also, I just really don't like that they keep being like, take it up with the collection agency. Like, hey dog, might be time to find a new job because these guys fucking suck. I don't really understand the game plan here. Like, do they just expect OP to see this $40,000 bill and be like, that makes sense, and then pay it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Update October 1st, 2015, 2 months later. No one at the company or the collections agency would help me, and they just sent me back and forth. Company told me to talk to collections. Collections told me to talk to the company. So I ended up getting a lawyer because that stress of being hounded by collections was setting back my recovery. The lawyer sent a very strongly worded letter to someone high up that I couldn't reach myself because I kept getting the runaround. The person didn't know anything about it and the company launched an investigation. The 3 people who kept giving me the runaround ended up being charged with fraud and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know much, but the police say that they have emails and they think the 3 were planning on keeping the payment for themselves since the company was already paid. They are also in trouble for fraudulently using company resources to send me collections for a fake debt. That's gotta be the dumbest 3 people that have ever existed. There are so many better ways to be fraudulent than telling a guy, hey, you gotta give us $40,000 for the company car that we've already got $40,000 from. Like, oh God. This is why I'm glad I'm self-employed, bro. That's why I'm so glad I don't have to work with fucking morons. If I had to work with people like this every day, I would lose my mind. Afterward, my company wrote me a letter of apology. They paid the cost for my lawyer and made sure the debt was removed from my record. They also made a donation to a charity of my choice. I'm nearly ready to return to work, but they told me to take as much time as I need. God, they fucking better. Imagine they're like, we're sorry we almost costed you $40,000 extra while you were healing from getting hit by a drunk driver, but you gotta be into work on Monday. Like, that would be fucking crazy. You know what? Props to them. They're at least being like, damn, we made a fucky wucky. We gotta make this better. You know what? Not too bad. After talking with the police, I believe the higher ups were not aware because the police say the 3 were trying to keep it a secret. The drunk driver's insurance is paying all my bills related to the incident, so I won't have debt from this ever. All in all, I'm doing much better. I would like to thank r/legal advice and everyone who offered advice and encouragement and sent me supportive messages. Good for OP. That would actually suck though if you're just like, I'm trying to recover from this life-changing injury and some asshole is like, give us $40,000. Oh man. Well, I'm glad it ended up well. Scooby-Doo villains. Bro, I feel like the Scooby-Doo villains are even better than them. They got these villains from Temu.com, bro. That is hilarious.